All right, folks. It's Wednesday. It's 12:30. Lucky me, I get to hang out with the ladies. It's Dr. Susan, and we've flipped it around. We've moved things around. Dr. Susan in chair number 1. Erica in lane number 2. Number 3 is Ava. Pulling up the rear is myself, Scott. So, the beauty of joy or the joy of beauty or whatever they have to say. And we will talk about a lot this week because, as the weeks go on, lots of things happen, right? Mm-hmm. But there's this whole, and it kind of ties in. Like everybody wants these experiences. It's no longer just buying a product on a shelf. You want an experience that comes with that product. Mm-hmm. Something as simple as a lipstick, something as simple as like an eyeshadow, something as simple as even sunscreen. You want an experience with that, right? And a story that goes behind these brands. If you look at Goop with Gwyneth Paltrow or whatever the heck it is, and all of these stars have these lifestyle brands now that they're doing, and it's an experience. They're trying to sell, if you buy this Goop, you'll be living the life like Gwyneth Paltrow. Ha! You might not want to live the life like Gwyneth Paltrow, but...
I don't know. I don't want to change the thing with the skincare, but when I got my first iPhone and I went into Shady Side and, they bring it out and I'm so excited. And he just holds the box and I'm just sort of staring because I'm like, well, aren't you going to open it? No, it's your phone. I could never not buy an iPhone again. Mm-hmm. This is it. It was magic.
Right.
So I typically try to remind myself of that. Yesterday I had a client who said, I just really love your robe. This is so soft. So when she was checking out, one was waiting for her wrapped. So those are cool moments I think we could create. But that iPhone experience, I will never forget it for sure.
It's like at the fancy restaurant where they bring it all out with like the covered platter and everybody.
Yeah, but it's not just with beauty. I think that experience is just like in your childhood. You just remember your mom's food and all those things. It just keeps that happy, joyful moments and then smart people in skincare or any other product brands are like, how do we create evangelist about our products and loyalty? That's how I think it's brilliant.
I think when I first started being interested in facials, even before I met you, because Ava gives the best facials. But even before that, I was always intrigued by different names of facials and like guacamole facials. Like what is a guacamole facial? It just sounds intriguing.
Well, I would love to know why they call it. It's probably ingredients, as in would be guacamole, like it's something,
avocado,
help you.
It has the avocado oil.
Help your skin. But I think if you like guacamole or you like avocado, then you're going to sort of like attach yourself in there with that. But that's all it goes. I mean, it's not the ritual. I think it's maybe what they're using in you, or maybe how they're making the guacamole. I mean, I never had one, so I can't speak for it. You kind
of. It's a little guy, Eduardo, comes out with a bowl and some avocados next to the table where you're having your facial, mixes them all up, and then
you can have lunch and
that's right.
Yeah, I would imagine
dinner and a show.
That is the benefits for your skin. But the same with like tomato or mermaid or all those. They are fun names that you attach yourself into that. Creates this experience. Or rituals. I think with facials, it's the ritual part.
May I ask if that facial was in another country?
No, I think it's just like whenever I go to a fancy type of spa, I like to read the menu because I think that the names are so interesting and inviting.
Because there is a trend. I mean, there's one big company called Steiner Leisure that like makes these menus for all of the high-end spas all over the country because that's where a lot of the practitioners come from. They're all trained by the same place. So they'll create what are like local reference menus. So if it's in the Southwest, it might have some Aztec type things. If it's in the Northwest, it who knows? I mean, they try to to pull from wherever
Like the
they are.
Hungarians with the paprika facial. It gives
Oh,
that spice
paprika.
and the heat
Ooh.
and
Yeah.
energizingness. So I mean that's pretty much would be similar.
But that being said, you have tomato-based products that you use. You have a lot of the oils, avocado oils, watermelon oils.
So now you want me to do an avocado?
No, 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 no. What I'm saying is we don't call it a guacamole facial, but she has the ingredients and has those natural-based extracts that she can use in those ingredients.
I think there's certain food connotations that make people
Oh, yeah.
really.
You're slobbering all. Oh, yeah.
You're not going to eat the guacamole and the paprika, but like if you like paprika and you like guacamole, when you see that on a spa menu, you're going to want to do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
And smells. I mean, one of our biggest things is chocolate. We have chocolate. We to the extent where for our hair removal, we use a chocolate-based wax to remove hair, and it smells like chocolate because it has actual chocolate in it.
Yeah, it's
But-
distracting, I think, from the actual pain that you're gonna
But
suffer.
it works, and people are like, "What's that?" Because most places don't go out of their way to find chocolate enhanced wax. But we have masks for facials, even for our pedicures. We have a hot chocolate facial and a hot chocolate pedicure. You can have a hot chocolate spiked if you want.
That's cool.
And have your little mask on your feet, and it's kind of cool.
Well, think about Cleopatra with the milk bath, right?
The original
baths,
exfoliation.
The Romans. I mean, there was the community aspect when we read about that article, and just the hygiene for Cleopatra. How genius realizing the lactic acid would soften her skin, keep her clean, and and for her, probably I mean. I don't know what her little bath looked like, but I would imagine like
Probably wasn't
beautiful
little.
and gold and just amazing. I don't know why I'm visualizing that, but that must have been a pretty cool experience for her too. And the ritual part. I mean, we went to Bologna to a spot and they had a high Japanese tea, which was I was surprised they had that.
You did that.
I did.
I did
and
not.
The
I
experience
didn't get a
was
chance.
this hour-long session to take a bath in this Japanese bathtub and then also the high tea. It was, I will never forget it. And I would want to go back and want to learn more about tea or want to learn more about Japan or just, it was really cool and obviously super relaxing and very, I felt better after when I left. So there is that aspect too, like, right? Like that joy part, like before the actual ritual or experience, hopefully you feel better about whatever that is, right?
I like the whole ritual aspect, and I also think engaging your senses, all of your senses. The more senses you can engage, I think the more people want to smell it, to taste it, to feel it. It's like just treat all of your senses.
Yeah.
And I think that's the appeal as well. So, and memory.
That's such a
I
good
remember
point.
when I was younger and I
Sense
loved
memory.
coming home and having a cup of tea. I used to do that when I was a kid. I would walk home from school, and my
Uphill,
parents,
both ways? In the snow?
It was a mile in the snow, but anyway, I did walk home, and I was in elementary school. We were very independent, and the first thing I did when I came home is I went in my cupboard and took out a beautiful teacup, and I would make
okay.
myself a cup of any type of tea. It was aromatic. It was just something I did for myself.
It was your ritual.
It was my little ritual.
your
I loved
ritual.
making my tea.
That's cool.
So anytime I see something around that, it just kind of triggers that memory for me.
Did you
So
pull out the Barbies and everything to have tea with
I
you?
did. I liked Barbies, but this was my own tea party. I had a tea party with myself.
Okay. That's
Oh,
okay.
that
That's cool.
Sounds good.
We can have your session with Dr. Susan a little later to unwrap that. But
The more senses you engage, the more effective whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish becomes, whether it's learning,
Yeah.
whether it's becoming present, which I think is a topic that comes around is when the four of us get together in one form or another. It's how present can you be, how you can sort of drop out of the planning mode that we find ourselves in, or looking at things in the rearview mirror and bringing ourselves into the present moment. By doing that, and that's what I think the experiences at your spa achieve, Ava and Scott, and that's what we're trying to do.
That's what the
at
retreat does too. I
Greeneras.
mean,
The retreat is the big one
Yeah.
because it's so self-contained. There are very little disruptions and distractions. We're creating our own little world, and it is curated to produce as many opportunities for the senses to be engaged, therefore many opportunities just to become present.
Is it because if you look at it one way, our senses are overloaded in the current with the phones, with the TV, with streaming this, that, and you don't even have 157 cable channels now. You have streamers, so you have like infinite number of channels. So it's like completely overloaded. So I look at the retreat not as engaging all the senses, but it's almost like you have to deconstruct it and then rebuild it. So and this is what Ava does on her facials, and a massage does this if it's done correctly. You need to have a gap. You need to have a separation. You turn off what's going on, and then you can turn them back on.
Yeah.
So instead of it's really hard to get the full benefits of it, if you can't separate from your day-to-day and then jump in.
A lot of the feedback I receive, and there's a lot of research out there too that corroborates what we're talking about, and that is when you put someone on a table for some form of relaxation treatment, it's easier for them to downshift from their lives if you give them something to listen to. It's a nice aromatic experience, as you were talking about, Erica. It could be something to taste, but you're giving the senses something to occupy them, and the attention starts to shift gradually. It's very difficult to ask a classic modern American to lie down on a spa table of any kind.
It's like, yep, here we go.
And say, you know what, relax. It's probably petrifying for many people. And some people say they cannot do that.
Yes.
Well, and it's the thing with people, so many people say, oh, I can't have anybody touch me.
Right.
Which I feel sorry for those people, because there's different kinds of touch, obviously. What happened in their past life that we're not going to beat you up or anything, but
it's the same people who are not experience oriented, they are result oriented. I never forget somebody said to me,
That's a good point.
I love
Okay.
your spa, it's really beautiful. Mine is this, and I just want result. I don't really care for your teacups and your hocus pocus. So I remember thinking about it. I took it as a fence first, and I just thought these are the people who shoot up with Botox because they can't have even a facial massage or like a nice and going through
like
the
that doctor
motion,
we just saw.
Going to the motion of that's also an experience to lose weight or have your better skin through sessions or learning qigong, right? Learning how to
Process.
or learning how to meditate. It's not going to be easy, but so they want that quick fix and without. I could have my iPhone sent to me through Amazon. I don't really need to go in a shop and have that moment
The
of
experience.
So what do I do with those people? Like, how do I
We just put them on a boat and push them out in the middle of the ocean and life of pi.
That is such a good point. I think about some people who've come to Green Eras to do yoga. And yoga is an all experience kind of thing. Sometimes an instructor will have a beautiful aromatic experience with incense or a candle or some kind of essential oil. We might have, and that's beautiful to do yoga to that. We've had candlelight, even fake candlelight just for the healing, but we don't want to burn the house down. Although the fire department is just
Right there.
That's
but just the whole, like the music and the just the vibe. And if you bring all of that in, it's the beautiful experience that sometimes might be missed if you're just trying to get through it as a workout. Because I don't really think yoga was meant to be necessarily a workout when it was created in India. But in American culture, we've created it as a workout to get results. But
Yes.
if you
It's a
actually
meditation. I mean, the original.
original is to experience
Intent,
a
right?
meditation or to be able to meditate for longer periods of time by learning flexibility and to be in tune with your breath and to have these experiences. There are some people who say the best part of yoga is the shavasana, which is at the very end where you just lay in a corpse pose and you don't
That's very
move.
true.
That's when you like take all the benefits and everything that you just learned and everything you just processed is just lay back in shavasana and absorb it, and then you go into the world. There are people who get up after their yoga class and leave before shavasana.
Yeah.
Wow.
And shavasana is my favorite pose.
I would never want to leave during that. Yeah.
I just want to do shavasana the whole time.
Isn't that called sleep?
Sort of.
So what's happening to those people? Like, why can't they even? Is there a gift to receive an experience? Like, there's certain people just can't even.
Oh, it's
there's
the
no
power.
senses
The
for
power
them?
of yielding, and
Okay.
that kind of exquisite vulnerability, if you will, that you have to be able to endure. And some people have no threshold cultivated for that level of what I would call vulnerability. You have to open to something and allow it to overtake your agenda, to overcome you in the best possible sense. But a lot of folks are hardwired to be defensive and hypervigilant, and that does not feel comfortable to them, and it feels dangerous to them. And I think that's a good topic, is to understand that some people believe that there isn't power for them, an empowering experience for them in yielding. It feels like giving over too much, giving up too much control.
But you find out so much more about yourself
Oh, yeah.
in what you really want, what's important, so on and so forth. Like our friend Dan, who, older guy, never was, he didn't want to be touched on his feet. Doesn't, a lot of people don't like their feet. Don't touch my feet. And finally got him in to have a pedicure, and it's not about the pedicure. He's like, the foot massage. He's like, oh my God, the foot massage. It's like, can I do this? Just come in for a foot massage. I'm like, yeah, sure. So he's in like every other day for a foot
That's
massage.
life-changing.
Yeah, and like can't get him out. It's like, you got to go, man. So you got another person, need a chair. But that's just one anecdotal example of, you get these wound up people that just can't do anything. And I mean, I know dozens of them off the top of my head that just would never even think about it, just because it's not something they would ever think of doing.
My favorite clients are the one who sit in a robe a little bit after a treatment and just sit there a little bit, and they have a tea, and I'm like, oh, yes. I love seeing that. I love when they pick up a book or just stare.
When
or
they get
just
it. Those people get it.
And even if it's a couple minutes, they're not rushing out. I always say, thank you for staying.
Savor it.
Anytime. I just love that. And it's also, maybe we could talk about it. Is this a luxury? Do they have people have time? It's like you said, do they even understand or protecting them? I can't do this. That's too this, too that. Just to have people change into a robe before a treatment.
That's a good point.
And just like
Shift.
I am in a place. The biggest one is turning off the phone. It's a huge challenge for people.
Or leave your phone in the locker room.
Yeah, it is. It is a big,
Like
big
there's
challenge
gonna be
for
20
them
feet between you and your phone.
To not able to have that, and it's difficult. I love acupunctures, and I go to somewhere where there is, you put like plants in a room. It's not just like a doctor's office looking room. It's just like he was trying. I'm like, this feels really cool, and he's like, I love that you notice everything. I said, this is cool. And he makes it a longer session, and it just like those. I am a sucker for every little details, and I appreciate it. it does bring me joy. You know, I live in a very hectic, busy life like all of you. And that to me, I appreciate every little
I
detail.
do think aesthetics are so important, and you have such a beautiful spa.
Oh, thank you so much. for
And
saying
I
that.
love just
like
being-
this place.
Thank you. So when I created Green Heiress, I wanted it to feel like a spa experience. So we do very different things. We do yoga, qigong. We do different, like lots of different sound healing, all kinds of things here at Green Heiress. But I still wanted it to feel like a spa experience. And I do think that people feel that way when they come here a little bit.
They always comment on the vibe of
the
the
vibe,
environment.
yeah.
They feel better already.
Yes.
Or they stay and they want to linger.
Yes.
And I know
We got
that's
all
the
the
case
gongs.
with your space.
Got all the gongs. You can't see the
Even
gongs, but I'm
smells,
surrounded by
you know?
gongs.
Like
right
when you
over that
step
way.
in.
Yeah.
Like I love hotels, fancy hotels. When I don't know how they do it.
No,
I
they
think
all have a proprietary smell that's created, and most of them are
I
created here in Pittsburgh at
freaking love
RIDC. At this place right up on at Alpha Drive, they make most of those
I love it.
proprietary smells for
There's a
everybody.
fun fact.
Yep.
that
But any
is
country clubs
so-
like Oakmont, Rolling Rock,
I
they all
love
have their own scent.
I love that. I think it's so cool. It just immediately puts you back to that memory of like, I'm back in my favorite place, you know? And now even people who rent out hotel rooms, they're smart to do it, you know? I think I love smells and like I think we said, the ritual part. It's the same routine, same ritual, and yes, you're gonna have to sit down. And you probably be able to tell me more about Japanese tea. I feel like I remember that you have to turn it so many times
Yeah.
and take a little sip, and you have to pour the first one for the uninvited guest, I believe.
Yeah.
And forgive me if I'm saying something wrong. It's my ignorance, but I just thought those steps were like, wow, this is really cool. Again, takes time. And that times pull you back to center you, right? Like you're not rushing.
That's what it's all steps that are set up to just take
Enjoying that
take you,
moment,
Not
maybe.
only that, but take you away from what your everyday is. So all of these things, and it could be anything. It could be fishing. It could be whatever experience it is. If it's done correctly, it's usually longer. Even if it's not longer, there's distinct protocols and steps to remove you from what you're used to and get you into this. So you're like, oh, this is that. And it's not what I'm normally doing.
Yes. You made a good point last week. If for those,
I did?
yes, you did.
For those of you keeping note at home, I made a good point.
He did. He made very good points. But last week we were talking about if you're on a beach and you're looking at your phone while you're on the beach, you're not enjoying all of your senses in the beach and the ocean. But if you put your phone down, then you feel the ocean and the salt in the air and the smells and the wind in your hair and sand at your feet. But that's a whole other reality. And as human beings, we are meant to experience those realities. When you're on your phone, you're almost putting yourself in a different reality, or you could say artificial reality, or however you want to say it, but we're not actually fully being human if we're taking ourselves away from our present moment. We're becoming almost like a new kind of human.
Well, and there's nothing special about it because it could just be anywhere. So if you're doing the same things wherever you are, then why do you need to be in a special place? You take away from the specialness of that place.
Well, maybe it's that person's ritual. Like, for example, I absolutely can't stand people who on a beach listening to music. And
Oh, and we
everybody,
attract them. Can I tell you? I mean, we could be
everybody
sitting here
else
by
have to
ourselves.
listen. However, I also like to think maybe a special song for them that they got married on a beach and now they just love listening. I don't know. So I'm trying to like give them a good excuse why they doing that.
As she's setting fire to their cabana.
I personally would love to listen to the ocean, but if they are on a phone, I wonder if, okay, I am just gonna play a game on my phone, or I am taking a slower day today. I'm still gonna look at my email, but I am here. I don't know. Like I said, I'm trying to be like really generous with them, but what a loss for them to missing it out on, like you said, the smell or the actual listening to that ocean wave, right? Just too bad.
People try to escape their brain, their thoughts, and they are not in the, to my opinion, the proper relationship with that.
With their brain?
We have the power to command our minds far more than we do. So those people who we mentioned earlier, who are ruled by their own personal agendas and are very uncomfortable with the thought of slowing down and letting go, ironically, those are the ones who have the least authentic control of themselves, because their mind and their random thoughts, and I didn't make this up, there are many people far wiser and are more articulate than I who have expressed in one way or another that we are really a product of conditioning.
Sure.
And our thoughts are byproducts of that conditioning. And the brain has a tendency, when not harnessed and not disciplined, I'll use that word, when we're not in relationship with our minds in a really conscious, intentional way, we can be taken over by all of that conditioning,
Just goes back
which
to
is
like
affecting
its
us through
original
what we
setting
think.
or whatever.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. I only wish we could be in our original factory settings of birth, but we are. We have all of this messaging now in our modern world because of the devices we're talking about, a continuing stream. And we think, well, we'll just distract ourselves a little bit more, but we're distracting ourselves from ourselves. Therefore, we're creating a distance, if you will. We're polarizing our experience with the relationship that we have with ourselves and the command that is our natural right. We have more sovereignty of ourselves than what it is we take up.
Is that just a what some would say a normal outcome of just following the rules? Because I mean, we're in such a rules, and every day brings more rules and regulations, and you must follow the rules, you must do this, you must do that, and just giving in to never questioning and following those rules. Is that the reason that people are stuck in this kind of doom loop of never being able to distract themselves or get out of that system?
I think people become addicted to what you call a doom loop.
Yes.
And we started this conversation about joy.
Now we're at doom.
But the competition is that.
Yeah.
And I think that's our answer today in a nutshell, is why are people seeking to have engaged experiences that are multifaceted and multisensorial, because there's something within us we know we deep down want to escape the doom loop.
Crying out for joy.
That's beautiful.
Right? I mean, it really is. They made movies.
Yeah.
With the and Joy. What was the movie, like the Pixar movie with the little emotions and their little people and stuff?
Yeah, Inside Out.
Inside Out, yes. And one of them was
Good.
Joy,
Yes,
and
yes.
little
I
people.
do
Those people are in my head.
I think that for years, American culture has been so focused on productivity, people not even having lunches together, but eating at their desk, hideous lunches that they may have taken from the night before.
Early bird gets the worm. Work, 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 work.
And there's just, there are some professions where you have to have a time tickler of how many minutes you bill
what?
somebody.
What was that?
Some professions, like
Wait,
lawyers.
a time tickler?
Yeah, like lawyers. Like, I just did this for 7 minutes.
There's
I
a
need
thing
to
called a
bill.
time tickler?
It could be.
Is there? We need to
You're not tickling time.
we need to patent that thing. We need a time tickler.
Okay, he's taking it to a whole different
But
level.
I just think like the message has to shift to, instead of, obviously we want to be productive, but I believe you can be more productive when you are taking measures to be who your authentic self is, and taking time to have self-care. Because when you're giving yourself self-care, then you're ready to get out there and be authentically productive. And I just think there's been a little bit of a shift for people to understand that, but I would like to help enable people to have more experiences to help with that shift.
Well, yeah, and I mean that's what the retreat is on a grand scale, as you say. That's what
with the
we try
community,
to do.
like the friends who you're gonna
Yeah.
meet and make maybe long-term friendships through, and together those memories and those joyful
Like
learning
minds.
qigong, right? Like I remember everybody who I met, and I find it so amazing. So yeah, through the
Now, so here's a thinking. Here's another thought that just popped in my head. So you always hear people like, "Oh, keep a book next to your bed, so when you have your dreams, you can wake up and write down your dreams, because otherwise you'll forget them." I never really do that, and then I later on, after I forget them, I'm like, I should have had a book so I could write it down. But we'll ask the doctor. What do we think about things like this? Is that, I mean, do you? Because memories are fleeting, I guess, so you just have to keep track of the good ones.
Yeah, I think writing something down and capturing something that was significant, that provoked a feeling. We remember the dreams because we felt them. We felt them in our body. There were images. Again, they're very sensorial. The mind doesn't know the difference between
What's important or not?
what is truly and what is actually happening or being evoked by various stimulation. You can imagine something visually. Your body's going to have a visceral response, even though, and that's the appeal sometimes of virtual reality, or the appeal of any kind of sensory engagement, because you're producing a sensation. And with dreams, they have so many messages for us. They're a window into probably our truest selves. And they've been interesting throughout millennia. And there are cultures which dedicate a part of every day to sharing dreams within the family. That's how they start their day.
I have another wonderful idea, and I should probably keep this one to myself. But it's-
then
No.
please do it.
No, because this is a good one. So instead of having the little journal that you write your dreams down, we just set up a whole, like a motion sensor video thing. So you just wake up and say it, and it's recorded, and then you can just scroll back and check.
Yeah, I think it's easier
What
now.
I'm saying, just
to
record yourself sleeping, and then wake up and tell your dreams that way.
Yeah. There's
Get on it, people.
We have the technology now to do
Right.
so many wonderful things and to capture things that are happening for us. And it brings back, I think, something we touched upon in an earlier time. We were all together, an earlier broadcast. But when coming from a Chinese model and a Japanese one as well, the concept of feng shui is really based on 5 elements and yin and yang. So we're looking at conditions as they are, and we're looking at what the conditions are we desire. And in order to create that, one of the principles of feng shui is elimination. So what does that mean? You're creating space. And in a deeper level, what you're doing is literally creating a void intentionally. And so if you try to create a void in your thought processing, in your movement throughout the day, in the space that you inhabit, or you just take one thing off your calendar, you've been successful in creating a void. We know that we have to give away that old sweater and make a little bit of space, and you hear time and time again, and that's one of the blessings of the digital age. People share their stories spontaneously of how they get rid of an old tennis racket and then the money flows to them, or a relationship comes in, and they relate it to something that's seemingly unrelated, because what they've done is they've created a place for greater flow. And that is the quantum mechanics of it all. And we talk a lot about vibration and setting a tone and shifting. It is all about the vibration. It's all about the frequencies that we're electing and understanding that we have the ability to elect the way we feel. And many times we do choose suffering. Doesn't seem that way. Can't change the circumstance or the environmental issue maybe, but we can change the way we relate to it. We don't necessarily have to suffer it. And we do that again by taking the reins on conditioning ourselves more. But I think in times that I remember as a child, built into the American culture was a day off. Whether it was Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, it was typically dictated by a religious structure, and people gave over to stopping their agendas, their personal agendas, having some kind of communal experience, which we could deem spiritual, at least for part of a day. And we intentionally and powerfully shifted the tone. So I grew up with Sundays off. And
weekends, yeah. I mean,
and there was not work done. And that's particularly interesting because I grew up in an agricultural environment. And
farm's gotta go.
if you can stop most things, not the cows from producing milk, but everything else for a whole day and not lose anything, actually gain.
it's a big deal.
It is an important thing to carry forward in your modern life, but we don't do that. We are going 7 days a week, and we are going many, many hours throughout the day. So I do think that originally, and this is my perception, but if we look at how global spiritual practices evolved, for millennia, there's always been a particular time that was set apart for a community to give over to what I would call the great all there is.
Yeah.
And I think it had a really basic practical function. We knew ourselves as human beings that we could create so many agendas and so much activity in driving toward goals that we believed were important, that we would literally create enough that we would generate a block to what could come to us from the quantum field, or what many would have called and still do the heavens. And that's the light frequency. So if you begin to think of it that way, you start to realize that void is actually almost opening your hands out and saying, I'm ready to receive. And I'm ready to receive good and powerful things that my limitations may not even be able to imagine.
Israel, the country, does that still
Yes.
with Saturday, with just, and it's wild. Because we've been there a couple times, and had to go to the store to get her something, and the store, like, not just that store, no stores are open, and you have to wait until the end of the day, and they're like, okay, well, that's 13 hours away. What am I supposed to do between now
And it
and
was
then?
so American of you not to be, right? Like,
But it's like, I mean, you literally in that
But you
environment.
feel a
you're-
sense of panic. You think,
you're
why do
kinda-
I not have access?
I'm like, somebody has to have this. I'm like driving around, looking in places. I'm like, do you have any of this? Do you have any of that? You're like, no. Yeah. So it was very interesting. And I mean, just from our business, we're open 7 days a week.
yeah. For me, it was availability for people who actually have a day off, and I wanted to have them an experience. Because if I'm not as open and flexible, then people who work so hard and maybe they have a Sunday off and they wanna taking care of themselves or have an experience, I wanted to be able to service them. But then what I'm getting into is like, I need a day off too.
Well, and
So
you
know,
need
this-
it. You
this
need
is-
time
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
the doom loop of the caregiver, of like a doctor or a nurse or somebody who works in that field, which I put you in because, as you just said, you are giving yourself and taking care of people, but
Which
that's
is joyful, because I do think that
It's
people
joyful
making
as
these
long
choices. I
as
mean,
you
a
have the
nurse. I mean,
We do it
think about
because
it.
it's a calling,
right.
Yes.
but it
you
can
would be
consume
miserable
us.
doing anything else, but you do it to an extent where it's like it no longer becomes joyful, because how many people are like, I can't do this anymore. Teachers are a similar type of thing.
yes.
Well, that's why I think it's important to. I do think the day off is a good idea. Obviously, it's been around for centuries, but I also think it's a good idea just throughout every day to take those moments to yourself. Even if you
Yes.
are doing things over and over, working too hard, find that space in your day. Your grace. It's a grace period. Enjoy that time. And allow yourself without guilt. I feel like too many people are guilt ridden just because they're taking a little time. Have that hour lunch. Go with a friend. Make yourself a nice meal instead of running around and grabbing something and eating over the sink. Enjoy those moments and stay in those moments as long as you can when you find that joy. Linger in them. Absorb that joy. That's a big thing.
That's such good advice, Erica, because everyone should be able to do that once a day.
I've never had a problem doing that.
Yeah, we know that. But I'm looking forward to
And,
the.
and look how happy you are.
Oh, well,
And incredibly balanced.
it's those around me. I'm perfectly happy in this show. It's those people around me.
Well, I'm looking forward to the retreat with you guys, and those are the things that I think I have to make more space for, and that's where I get recharged, is those experiences that you guys creating for us, which is you all should come, by the way. But yeah, it is, for me, the 7 days is definitely something that I have to revisit and figure it out, but I do, people love it. I mean, I can't tell you the amount of people said, I'm just so glad that your
Oh, yeah,
hours
it's a
are
big
so
deal.
amazing, and because I get to come when I know my kids are being watched by a husband or whatever, and this is daytime. So
It's that making things accessible. I mean,
Yes.
that's kind of the first step. If you have to be accessible when somebody needs the access. So that's a big deal that people don't really think about, because everybody's working on their own schedule these days. So you have to be where the customers are.
do you guys remember when Giant was open 24/7?
Well, and
Yes.
Denny's as a
mean,
company
I
across the country
loved it.
had to literally go in and put locks on their doors because they didn't have locks on their doors because they were open 24/7. There literally came a time
Isn't that
where
something?
they had to send locksmiths to all the Denny's to put locks on the doors because they were going to have hours when they weren't open now.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I felt guilty afterwards enjoying 11 p.m. shopping at the grocery
I
store.
enjoyed
but,
it too.
But
was an
I
evening
loved it,
person.
and then I thought, well, I didn't.
Where are you going to go eat at 3 a.m?
But so those, I mean, and those people also. Or Thanksgiving, when in this culture, we're doing the Black Friday shopping, and now it's sort of
Oh my gosh.
creates the
Black
guilt
Friday.
of like maybe we shouldn't be open. It should be like resting, and now be forcing people to go into the stores, and then all.
We
the
used to
people-
open at 3 a.m.
Yes, we used to do that.
For Black Friday.
Wow.
For our
Yeah.
Black Friday sale.
I'll bet.
Wow.
And there were like
Oh, if people
500
there.
people
Yeah,
lined up
and
around
it
the
was
corner
so much
Oh
fun,
my
but then
at 3 a.m.
then I thought
crazy.
forcing my staff to be there too. So then when we stopped doing it, I really felt good that come on, like they need daytime.
Well,
off.
we did move it to Wednesday. But well, and so the staff could have Thanksgiving.
That's nice.
Yes.
That's the reason we did that. Yeah.
Well,
You
it
want
is.
to know the real reason we did it?
Oh, what's the real reason?
Well, here's the tricky part of it, and this is why Amazon and Walmart and everybody else now does all their sales on the day before or whatever. Whoever, it is a set piece of real estate in terms of how much money is spent on Black Friday, in my opinion. Whoever gets the money first wins. So if somebody is at the spa on Wednesday at 5 o'clock and gets their gifts at the spa for Black Friday, they're not going to Walmart to get the television. If they go to Walmart and get the television, that is potentially money that could be at the spa. So
It's
whoever
so
gets it first.
capitalistic right
But-
now. You're ruining this whole
No,
joy
no.
conversation.
In all honesty, as a Black Friday sale, it's a marketing gimmick created. So whoever gets that money first out of that pail wins.
But think of those people who thought it was a ritual for them after Thanksgiving, right?
yeah.
That was their ritual to go with the
Yeah,
family.
they're now
and-
going on Wednesday.
What would
Right.
make an extraordinary gift is registration to our retreat.
Right?
That's right.
February.
Smart.
Yeah.
There
Something
you
to look
go.
forward to.
Yes.
Bring it back.
Dun-dun-dun.
Yes.
But it
Well,
is.
there's a lot of psychology
Yeah.
built into everything that we do. And I kind of miss the excitement around the traditional Black Friday. It was fun. You know,
Well, 'cause
the
it was
brick and
such a
mortar,
set piece.
It was
It
a
was
brick
such
and
a thing.
mortar driven
Yes.
world of retail, and it's not that now.
You had to show up.
Now Black Friday, I think, is starting right after Halloween. It's just earlier and
Right.
earlier and longer, and you're sort of betting that price won't go down any lower
Right.
once you pull it.
It's like
out.
when you used to stand in line or like pitch a tent to wait for the concert tickets
yes.
at National Record Mart,
Yeah,
right? And
that was much fairer than what goes on now.
and there was a community with that because those are the diehards that are there and they're going to love that concert. Like you want Rolling Stone tickets? Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to go pitch a tent at 3 days before they start on sale, and you're like you said, you're going to get a better ticket, seating.
I think a common theme that's coming throughout our podcast the past few weeks has been this sort of yearning in our community for some kind of connection based around ritual. We talked about water cooler meetings where people want to come in and talk about the movie everybody's watching. Now this week it's about what is her name? Sydney's jeans, right? Wasn't that the big item on the,
Yes.
the week?
That's 'cause
Sydney
10
Sweeney's
yes,
jeans,
'cause
right? That was
10% of the
big-
population has an issue, but they're going to have an issue with
Right.
anything.
Of course, but it's a whole thing like the whole country, and we talked about it last week, having FOMO because you want to know what the latest thing is, what's going on. But I do think that this whole sense of our country, our culture, our world, wanting to find some kind of connection to each other, that's why we want to have these flashy news releases. That's why we want to have these Black Friday experiences. And once you water those things down, they're never going to be the same. And so then they're going to look to something else to bring people together. And those things that you bring people together could be positive. They can also be negative, as we've seen throughout the years of people getting together for negative reasons.
Like a horror movie. Like, I don't understand those people. Like, what the heck?
I don't get that either, the thrillers. But I want to know that there are things in this world that we can come together for positive and do things
Yes,
together that's a positive, amazing, a communal experience. Because people are they're craving communal, ritualistic, positive ritualistic, hopefully experiences together.
Yes.
Joy.
Enjoy.
Joy,
So that
for
brings
sure.
us out of the gloom cycle, off that treadmill, and into joy. We transmuted it today.
It's
Here
it.
we
So,
go.
in the
Brought that
grand-
full circle.
right? I mean, in the grand scheme of so at the very least, you got at least 4 joyful people and
Yeah,
joyful
4. There's
in
4.
different ways that are going to be on this retreat. There will probably be more. So guiding you in your experience and trying to find, I'll be up on the mountain trying to find joy up there, but tram.
Going up to the Sky Tram.
That's it.
Yes.
Sky
We're
Tram.
doing it. We need tickets beforehand.
We're going to
Scott.
have tickets. Don't worry. Yes. So with that in mind, we're going to draw today to a close, and who knows what we'll be talking about next week. What do you think you want to talk about next
I
week?
think we just go in the flow.
That's right.
We leave space.
We are.
Yes.
We are a flow kind of podcast. So hopefully you're enjoying it. I know some of
If
you are
anyone
watching.
has requests
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
or suggestions
You can
for
DM us. You can
or-
email us.
Please let us
and
know.
let us know if you have any things that we are not talking about that you would like us to talk about, and put our unique spin on it, or maybe not so unique, but just give you the feeling that, oh, hey, somebody out there has the same idea as I do, or I'm heard. The doctor is listening. And other than that, what's your plans this week?
This week or just today?
Today, this week, whatever. Anything?
Working.
Well, after this podcast, I will say we are going to have another podcast of a bunch of nice young people in our community who are going to be doing a new YouTube video called
okay.
Mac on the Track, and they're practicing right now. So I'm going to be sitting
Mac
around
on the
watching
track.
what they're going to do. It's supposed to be quite funny and improvisational, so I'm happy to kind of watch over that. I'm doing that today, and I'm not sure about the rest of the week. What about you all?
Okay.
Working.
Okay.
I'm gonna
does.
try it. I know. I'm
Gonna try to get her to the
take-
lake this
I'm
weekend.
I'm
Aw.
gonna take it in though and see if. But anyway,
She loves the lake, but she never goes.
Which lake do you go
Lake
to?
Erie.
Lake
Oh,
Erie.
how
She loves
Dunkirk-
any lake. She loves
Dunkirk,
really
New
any
York
lake.
is
Yeah,
great.
me too.
Dunkirk,
water.
New York.
Yes,
Okay.
it's very
The
charming.
only body of water she doesn't really like is the river.
Okay.
Here, I might have spoiled that for her,
Yeah,
but
that's
that's
okay. Well,
Fair
anyway,
enough.
Thank
How about you, Doc?
everybody. Oh
I'm-
yeah.
With Ava, I'm going to see my beautiful clients and students.
Yeah, that's where we need to go.
And then also, I'm going to be walking Walter,
Aw.
my little cotone.
Aw.
Fierce, curmudgeon. But I love him. Yeah.
All right.
Thank
Sounds good.
you. Thank
We'll see you next
everybody.
week, folks.
See you next
Thanks for
week.
shopping.
Bye.
Bye.
Toodles.